If you're familiar with fantasy football draft strategy, you've probably heard of the hero running back method. It's pretty simple. You draft a running back in the first round and then stack up your other positions, wide receiver, tight end, quarterback, and you don't have to worry about taking another running back until later in the draft. The running back you drafted first becomes your hero of the team, and then you take a shot on a high upside RB2 later in the draft. Today we're going to be talking about 5 running backs you can draft with the hero running back draft strategy that will help you win your fantasy league this season. And before you go to the comments, we're not talking about just the best 5 running backs in fantasy football. We're talking about the 5 running backs I love the most at ADP that can be used for this strategy. So let's go ahead and go on into it with our first running back, Bijan Robinson of the Atlanta Falcons. This one's pretty obvious. He's my running back 1 for this upcoming fantasy football season. We all know he wasn't the RB1 overall last year, but he did have elite volume both as a rusher and a receiver. He put up almost 2,000 yards from scrimmage last season in only his second year in the NFL. He's only 23 years old, and with one of the best offensive lines in the NFL, the running back 1 is easily in his range of outcomes for 2025. While he did have less rushing production than the great Saquon Barkley, he does have more PPR upside heading into this season, as he had more receptions by far. He had over 300 rushing attempts and over 60 receptions, giving him 365 touches overall this last season, which was second in the entire NFL, behind, of course, Saquon Barkley. But if you're playing in a PPR league, Bijan Robinson is easily the running back 1 in this year's fantasy football drafts. This is a potentially ascending offense with Drake London, with Darnell Mooney, with Michael Penix Jr. at quarterback, and of course Bijan Robinson at the running back position. Robinson is a true elite dual threat running back. He can do it all. He's elusive, he's powerful, he has great contact balance, he's very versatile, and I think he's the RB1 this year. And who knows, if you select Bijan Robinson in the early first round of your fantasy draft, you could pair him with Brock Bowers, AJ Brown, or even his teammate Drake London. Robinson's my 3rd overall ranked player in fantasy football drafts this season. Don't hesitate to draft him that high. He's going to be even better than he was last year. Next up, we have Ashton, who I think is a guy that could definitely outperform his ADP. He is a generational rookie prospect. The reason I have Jeanty on this list as one of my favorite hero running back targets is because he's just so intriguing as a fantasy asset. We don't know his ceiling yet. We just saw him put up 2,601 rushing yards, 7 yards per carry, and 29 rushing touchdowns in his final year of collegiate football at Boise State. We know his game is very translatable to the NFL. He could easily put up a ridiculous rookie year and be a top 5 running back in fantasy. If you're getting him in the late first round, which is where he's going in fantasy drafts right now, you could pair him with an elite wide receiver like Brian Thomas Jr. in the early second round. That draft position where he's going makes him a great target for the hero running back draft strategy because you're getting such an elite player in the second round. If you play fantasy football for a couple of years, you know that rookie running backs, when they have the talent and they're given the opportunity, tend to produce down the stretch of the year. And the chances of that happening are multiplied greatly if they were drafted high, which Jeanty was. He was selected with the 6th overall pick in the 2025 NFL draft by the Las Vegas Raiders. And that draft pedigree, 6th overall, means that he is meant to be their offensive centerpiece from day 1. You don't select a running back that high if you don't intend to make your offense run heavy, run first, run focused, whatever you want to call it. Jeanty is going to be the centerpiece. Now, don't get me wrong, I think Brock Bowers is still going to be fantastic at tight end, but this team is going to run the ball a lot more than they did last year with one of the worst rushing attacks in the NFL in 2024. Turning the page to 2025, with now a generational prospect at running back on the roster, there's no reason for Pete Carroll to shy away from running the football. As a prospect, Jeanty has elite contact balance, speed, strength, and patience behind the offensive line. He's a true home run hitter at the running back position, capable of breaking off 50-yard touchdown runs at any given moment. He's also without a doubt one of the flashiest picks in the first round by far. Now, that's not a reason to draft him, it just always makes it more fun. If you're enjoying the video, don't forget to subscribe to the Fantasy Trading Room YouTube channel. We put out content like this every single week aimed at helping you win your fantasy leagues this season. Next up, we have Derrick Henry, who I think should be a first-round pick in fantasy drafts. I mean, the guy put up almost 2,000 rushing yards at 30 years old last season. That is just unheard of. It's easy to forget just how productive he was because he was outshined by Saquon Barkley, who did put up over 2,000 rushing yards. But in any other year, Henry would have been the top-ranked running back in the NFL. And putting up the highest yards per carry of his entire career, 5.91, which is a ridiculous statistic, at 30 years old, speaks to how elite the situation is for Derrick Henry and just any running back in general in Baltimore. Lamar Jackson is the best quarterback in the NFL. His dual threat abilities make him a threat to opposing defenses at all times. That way, defenders aren't able to just zero in on Derrick Henry in the backfield. You have to worry about Lamar Jackson taking it himself on a rushing attempt as well. They also have a very young and very talented offensive line. There are a couple questions at the guard positions, but as far as Ronnie Stanley, Roger Rosegarden, and Tyler Linderbaum go, there's nothing to worry about right there. Todd Monken is an absolute genius at the offensive coordinator position. He has created a deadly and very creative rushing attack for Derrick Henry to thrive in. And that's not even mentioning what he's helped Lamar Jackson achieve. The volume was just fantastic last season. He scored a rushing touchdown in almost every single game and had the second most carries in the NFL. And he just looked like the same old Derrick Henry we've been used to over the past 5 or 6 years, destroying defenders, breaking off long touchdown runs, and being a bulldozer into the end zone. On top of that, it looks like Baltimore wants to keep Henry around. They signed him to a 2-year, $30 million extension this offseason, which of course values out at about $15 million per season, so they obviously plan on keeping him around long term. This is just one of the players that you cannot afford to overthink in terms of ADP. He is just that good. I don't think he's going to slow down this season. Next up, we have Achane of the Miami Dolphins. This dude was one of the best PPR options in all of fantasy football last season. He's one of the most dynamic players in the entire NFL with fantastic versatility and truly elite speed. He had over 200 carries last year, but people also forget he took over 200 snaps at wide receiver last season. If he's not a running back absolutely built for the points per reception format, I don't know who is. He led all running backs in receptions last year with 78. There's only been 4 other running backs in the past 5 years to have more receptions than that in a single season. He also led all running backs in receiving yards and tied the lead among the position for receiving touchdowns. In 2023, he had a remarkably efficient but injury-prone rookie campaign. He backed that up this season in his second year by playing all 17 games and averaging well over 4 yards per carry. We did see his production dip significantly when quarterback Tua Tagovailoa was out of the lineup with a concussion. If that happens again, Achane's value could easily plummet. But the ceiling and the upside is so good, I just cannot justify not taking him at the end of the first round. He had 12 total rushing touchdowns last season, and there's just not much competition for rushing attempts. Raheem Mostert is no longer on the team. Achane is the unquestioned top running back. Again, if Tua stays healthy, Achane has RB1 overall potential with how good he is as a receiver. He had an 82.8 rushing grade and an 80.6 receiving grade from PFF this last season. That speaks to his versatility a lot. Achane is my 12th overall player for fantasy football drafts this season. I think he's a lock to be selected at the end of your first round. You should be the one to take him. With his PPR upside, he's a perfect candidate for the hero running back draft strategy. He's going to be fantastic. For the last selection on this list, we're going to go with a guy who isn't necessarily being drafted in the first round. As a second round pick, I absolutely love his ADP, and I think he has a chance to finish as a top 7 running back once again, making him a great option for the strategy. This player was an absolute workhorse in 2024. He had the 4th most rushing attempts in the entire NFL in his first year on a new team. Within the red zone, he had the 3rd most attempts and 2nd most rushing touchdowns in the entire NFL. If you haven't guessed the player by now, it's Josh Jacobs of the Green Bay Packers. After signing with Green Bay in the 2024 offseason, he was everything they could have hoped for out of their starting running back. He had a 91.3 PFF rush grade, which was 4th in the entire NFL, tied with Kenneth Walker, and 1,113 rushing yards after contact, which was 3rd most in the NFL. He averaged well over 4 yards per carry and was absolutely fantastic, bowling over defenders and breaking off long touchdown runs, and was just automatic on the goal line. Like Derrick Henry, he pretty much had a rushing touchdown every single game, making him one of the safest options in all of football at the running back position. I see no reason for him not to repeat as top 7, heck, even a top 5 running back in fantasy this year. I think being selected in the early or middle second round is a great ADP to get Josh Jacobs at. He's one of the rare options for the hero running back draft strategy in the second round. I think he's such a safe pick, and he's going to be so productive this year that you're going to regret not taking him if you don't grab him at ADP. He's my 16th ranked player in fantasy football drafts right now, but I wouldn't be surprised if I move him up that list even more towards the top of the second round by the end of the offseason. Again, I think he's going to be elite, and these 5 running backs are all fantastic options for the hero running back draft strategy at ADP. If you guys enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment down below what you think. I'd be glad to talk ball with you guys in the comments. But for now, that's all I got. I'm Joe, and this is Fantasy Trading Room.